What if I told you that one man's obsession with making cars affordable accidentally created the modern middle class? A man who failed twice before changing the world forever. But here's the twist. His greatest invention wasn't the car itself. Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile, but what he did do was far more revolutionary. He made it possible for ordinary people, factory workers, farmers, teachers, to own one. Before Ford, cars were luxury toys for the rich, costing around $4,700, nearly 2 years' salary for an average worker. But by 1925, you could buy a Ford Model T for just $260. How did he do it, and what did it cost him? Born on July 30th, 1863, on a small Michigan farm, young Henry Ford had a problem. He absolutely hated farming. While other boys played, Ford was taking apart watches and rebuilding them. His father gave him a watch at 15, and Ford completely disassembled it and put it back together. At 16, he made a decision that would change history. He left the farm to Detroit to become a machinist. But his first 2 car companies failed miserably. So what made the third time different? In 1899, Ford founded the Detroit Automobile Company. It failed within 2 years. Investors lost faith. The cars were too expensive and poorly made. In 1901, he tried again with the Henry Ford Company. He clashed with investors and was forced out of his own company. Imagine being kicked out of a company with your name on it. Most people would quit, but Ford had a vision that bordered on obsession, a car for the great multitude. And then came 1903. On June 16, 1903, with just $28,000 from 12 investors, the Ford Motor Company was born. But here's what nobody expected. Ford wasn't trying to build the best car, he was trying to build the cheapest car that still worked reliably. His first models, A, B, C, were successful, but Ford wanted more. He had a radical idea. I will build a car for the great multitude. But to do that, he needed to solve an impossible problem. In 1908, Ford introduced the Model T, simple, durable, affordable at $825. But even that wasn't cheap enough for Ford's vision. Then, in 1913, came his true genius invention, the moving assembly line. Inspired by a slaughterhouse conveyor belt, yes, really, Ford revolutionized manufacturing. Instead of workers moving to the car moved to the workers. Each person did one specific task over and over. The results? Absolutely mind-blowing. Before the assembly line, building one Model T took 12 hours. After the assembly line, 93 minutes. Production time dropped by 88%. By 1914, Ford's factories could produce a car every 24 seconds. The price of a Model T dropped to $360, then $260 by 1925. Ford didn't just make cars affordable, he made them inevitable. But then he did something that shocked the entire business world. January 5, 1914, Ford announced he would pay workers $5 per day, more than double the industry average of $2.34. Business leaders called him a traitor to capitalism. Newspapers said he'd go bankrupt. But Ford understood something revolutionary. If his workers couldn't afford his cars, who would buy them? He created his own customers. Workers flooded to Detroit for these jobs. Turnover dropped from 370% to 16%. Productivity soared. Ford had just invented the American middle class. Ford had revolutionary ideas about business. Any customer can have a car painted any color he wants so long as it is black. Why? Black paint dried fastest, speeding up production. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. He believed in vertical integration. Ford owned iron mines, rubber plantations, forests, even a railroad, everything needed to build a car. But success brought dark shadows. Henry Ford wasn't perfect, far from it. He published anti-Semitic articles in his newspaper, the Dearborn Independent, in the 1920s. He accepted a medal from Nazi Germany in 1938. He opposed labor unions violently. His sociological department spied on workers' private lives. He was stubborn, refusing to update the Model T even as competitors like Chevrolet surged ahead. By 1927, he was forced to shut down production for 6 months to retool for the Model A. His genius came with a heavy price. Between 1908 and 1927, Ford produced over 15 million Model Ts. By 1918, half of all cars in America were Model Ts. The Model T had a top speed of 40 to 45 miles per hour, got 13 to 21 miles per gallon, could drive on terrible roads, high clearance, was simple enough for owners to repair themselves. It transformed America from a nation of isolated farms to a mobile society. Roads were paved, suburbs were born, America was on wheels. Ford's assembly line didn't just change cars, it changed everything. Mass production spread to every industry. Consumer goods became affordable. The 40-hour workweek became standard. The middle class exploded. Suburbs developed. People could live farther from work. Tourism became possible for ordinary families. One man's obsession with efficiency restructured society itself. But what did Ford himself think of his legacy? By the 1940s, Ford's health declined. His son Edsel had died in 1943, devastating him. His grandson, Henry Ford III, took control of the company in 1945. Henry Ford died on April 7, 1947, at age 83 in his Dearborn, Michigan estate during a power outage, ironically by candlelight, just like when he was born. He left behind a company, a fortune, and a world completely transformed. But here's the real question. Was Henry Ford a genius or a tyrant, a liberator or a control freak? The answer? He was human, brilliantly flawed. His real innovation wasn't mechanical, it was philosophical. Make something so good and so affordable that everyone can have it. He proved that failure isn't final, big ideas need obsessive execution, paying workers well is good business, efficiency can change the world. His Model T put the world on wheels, his assembly line built modern manufacturing, his wages created the middle class. Henry Ford's story teaches us that one person with conviction can change the world, even after failing twice. So here's my question for you. What's your Model T? What idea keeps you up at night? What would you build if you knew you couldn't fail? Drop your answer in the comments below. If this story inspired you, smash that like button and subscribe for more documentaries about the people who changed history. Remember Ford's words, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.